So I want to talk a little bit about humility. And debating on making this video just for one reason. And that reason is I don't normally like talking about reserve list cards, especially reserve list cards that are pretty pricey. And humility is one of those, but I also want to use this as a talking point about the reserve list. So let's get into this. So this is one of my favorite cards for a couple different reasons. Number one, art by Phil Foglio. Love Phil Foglio's art. Phil and Kaja Foglio were two of the early artists for Magic cards, and their art is like 10 out of 10. And this is another example of that. Love the art. That's probably the number one reason I like this card. Number two, this card goes hard. This is a hard-going card. So as you can see, this is an enchantment from Tempest that each creature loses all abilities and become 1/1 creatures. That is like, if you're in a game of Commander, if you're in a game of any Magic and you drop this, it's going to be a bomb in some way. And it's not a destroy creatures bomb. It's a, let's just mess up everybody's day bomb. Those are the kind of cards I get behind, ones that you're like, yep, how's everybody's day going? Well, now it's going bad. So yeah, this is a fun card, the combos. I'm an Esper player because I'm terrible, and I have a copy of this in my Sin Triplets deck. But pretty much anything you're running white, if you want to just mess up somebody's day, here you go, congrats. You're going to just like anger everyone at your pod, a Commander, just wreck them all. They deserve it. Happy Friday. But also, I just want to talk a little bit about the reserve list. So this card it's a little tough to get right now. It's from Tempest, which is an early Magic set from the late 90s. And it's like, since it's on a reserve list, it's like a $50 rare. So, you know, it's a little tough to get. Even though I recommend this card, it is tough to get. If you really want it, check with your group, see if they're cool proxies. I would recommend proxying this for sure. But also, I just want to talk about the reserve list in general. So yeah, this is a reserve list card. And I think that it might be time to get rid of the reserve list. So for those who don't know, the reserve list was created right after Chronicles because of the backlash from Chronicles. And Wizards of the Coast wanted to preserve certain cards for collectors, which is understandable. But now in this day and age, we have lots of options. So we could put reserve list cards. I mean, you wouldn't have to put them in a full set. You could just do them as like special guest cards and like collector boosters. Or if you reprint them, you did like a Chronicles 2 set or something like that. It would be a master set this day, but something like Chronicles 2. Let's be honest, the master sets are a lot like Chronicles. Chronicles might be the first master set. But anyway, yeah, there's so many collectability options now that we didn't have like 20 years ago. For instance, you could print these cards, but you could do versions like, you could even do like serialized versions, or you could do like the raised foil versions, and they'd still preserve a lot of their collectability. But yeah, that's how I feel about the reserve list. I kind of feel like it's time to get rid of it. And just as a side note, Mark Rosewater has kind of indicated that he might be all for getting rid of the reserve list, but there's probably a lot of people who would be involved in a big decision like that. But yeah, I kind of feel like it might be time to move on from reserve list. I mean, I get how collectors, they want to really collect the collectability of some of these cards, but we have so many options that'll still make them collectible. But that being said, let me know what your feelings are. Are you for the reserve list, against the reserve list? What are your thoughts?